Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As we start, let me introduce you to someone you may already know. This is Linda, a regular woman with a 9-to-5 job and other everyday responsibilities that come with being an adult. Today was a very long day for her. She had a few important meetings relating to an upcoming work project. And it certainly didn't feel like regular 8 hours. It felt like ages. Linda, as she's leaving work, realizes she's left an empty fridge at home. So she decides to do some grocery shopping, because after all, no matter how hard you work, you still have to eat. But unfortunately, the line is long, and Linda loses much longer at the store than she would like. As she finally thinks she can go home, it turns out it's not the end of obstacles. Because now she's stuck in a traffic jam that takes yet another hour out of her precious time. As she finally gets home, she realizes, she still has to cook the dinner. And it's going to be quick because she's already very tired. And after dinner, she still has to do the dishes and take a shower and write some emails that absolutely need to be answered by tomorrow. So before she can realize it, the hour is late. And she has to wake up early for work, so she should really get going to bed. But her day wasn't very fun, though. So she decides to watch just one episode of her favorite TV series, because after all, everybody deserves a little break, right? Unfortunately, the series is very good. So good that when Linda finally looks at the time again, she only has about 4 hours left of sleep. And it's not the first time this week. She goes to bed disappointed with herself and a little bit worried for her ability to concentrate on work the next day. What she doesn't know is that she's engaging in a psychological phenomenon called revenge bedtime procrastination. Now, for something to qualify as a regular bedtime procrastination, 3 criteria need to be met. First of all, the delay must decrease the overall amount of sleep time per night. If you like staying up late, but you're still getting around 8 hours each night, you're fine. Secondly, that delay cannot be tied to any external reason. If your baby is crying all night, or if you're very sick, you might want to go to sleep, but that's just not possible. And lastly, you need to be aware of the negative consequences, yet continue to do it anyway. When it comes to revenge bedtime procrastination, though, one more criterion has to be met. And that is the delay in going to bed has to be seen as revenge. Revenge for having little to no free time throughout the day. A revenge we take on life itself for the fact that sometimes it can be underwhelming and uneventful. People who have little to no free time during their day, due to a variety of responsibilities, often feel like it's an act of taking that control back. It's a paradox. You want to go to sleep because you're very tired, but you also want to stay up because going to sleep means you'll soon wake up to yet another day filled with constant work and the lack of rest. People who put off going to bed when they should and instead engage in those feel-good activities know that they should be going to bed and actually have every intention to do so, but then do not follow through with their intention. Now that phenomenon is described as an intention-behavior discrepancy. In essence, you know you're doing wrong and you want to stop, but then you just don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I realize that the concept of revenge bedtime procrastination may feel like it's actually not that big of a deal. After all, what's going to happen? You're going to be a bit tired at work the next day. Why should we even worry about this? Well, although it's true that occasionally staying up late is unlikely to significantly impact your health, frequently postponing sleep may have harmful consequences. You see, there is an organ in your body that runs a marathon every single day. Imagine how tired it must be to basically be exercising for 16 hours straight. That organ is your heart, and I said 16 hours because at night it wants to slow down. Unfortunately, if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours per night, it cannot do that. and therefore it puts you at a higher risk of hypertension, heart attack, and stroke. Believe it or not, but your late night habits might also be conspiring with your body to increase the likelihood of cancer. Now, this is the work of hormonal regulation that, disrupted by your lack of sleep, may contribute to the growth and progression of malignant cells. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Something that starts as a seemingly not harmful compromise on sleep may then turn into a full-blown health crisis with far-reaching implications. And actually, it's not only your physical health that's at stake. Sleep affects cognitive functions and mental well-being. So, when you consistently deny yourself the recommended hours of shut-eye, you're not only trading a little bit of energy for a little bit of fun at night, but you're also jeopardizing your impulse control. And imagine trying to navigate a busy street with a foggy mind and diminished focus. It's a recipe for a catastrophe that could potentially be deadly. And listen, even the least harmful of consequences, like worsening your concentration, may still have a huge impact on your life. Your ability to deliver high-quality work may get worse, and that can lead to a domino effect on your professional life. And you know how it goes, right? You stay up late for a couple of nights, and then you get a bit worn out. So you make a mistake at work, and then you have to fix it. And then your days become more stressful, and you actually feel like it's harder to wind down in the evening because you're constantly thinking about your work failure. And well, what do? Well, you stay up late for a couple of nights. And this is a loop, ladies and gentlemen. And it's very hard to get out of this loop, but if you don't, well, that's when the more serious health consequences may get to you as well. So now that I scared you, I suppose the most important question you might be asking yourselves is, are we doomed? Well, fortunately, doom is not the answer. And in fact, here are 6 ways you can try to overcome revenge bedtime procrastination. Number 1, shift your perspective on sleep. Instead of seeing it as a task, think of it as a beneficial activity for your health. Remind yourself how good it feels to actually wake up energized after a restful night. And make sure that your bedroom feels inviting to you as well. Adjust the temperature to your preferences. Decide whether you want a thick duvet or a thin one, or perhaps even a blanket. Buy a pillow that is perfectly soft or hard for your preferences. All of those changes may seem insignificant, but they are actually changing the way you think about sleep in general. Number 2, allocate time for leisure daily. Evaluate your schedule and eliminate unnecessary tasks. Make room for the activities you enjoy, but schedule short breaks, like playing a game or reading a chapter. It's really not about taking 3 hours each day to do something elaborate. It's about giving ourselves a couple of minutes every few hours, and trust me, it makes a difference. Number 3, establish a bedtime routine. Wind down 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed and engage in activities you find calming, such as doing skincare, meditating, reading, or doing breathing exercises. This will signal your body and mind to prepare for a restful night. Number 4, adopt a consistent sleep schedule. Set a regular bedtime and wake-up time to prioritize sleep. Now, you're not going to like this, but stick to this routine on weekdays and weekends for better sleep habits. Number 5, recognize your sleep cues. Pay attention to when you actually feel tired or sleepy and validate those signals by going to bed. Now, try not using distractors like your phone or watching the TV when these cues arise. And lastly, establish a device curfew. Include putting away your phone and turning off the TV in your bedtime routine. Treat your devices like they need rest too, in order to prevent the temptation to check them late into the night. And I actually have one more little tip for you. Disable the automatic play of the next episode on all of your streaming services. It's a small thing, but puts you in charge of whether to watch another episode. and gives you those couple of seconds to think, should I really be doing this? Now, ladies, as I'm nearing the end of my presentation, I have a little secret to share with you. Do you remember Linda? She doesn't exist. Well, I am the Linda. And today I have a very important question that everybody here needs to answer. Are you Linda too?